All right, folks. Well, with that, we're going to go ahead now and change subjects real quick to something that we actually talked about a little bit in the past few weeks. Well, if you didn't hear, the U.S. House of Representatives actually passed a bill that would mandate permanent daylight savings. It would get rid of the twice yearly change to the clocks, spring or fall back an hour in the fall, spring forward an hour in the spring. Well, a lot of people say that daylight savings is an outdated system that is no longer needed, and we would benefit from more daylight year round. However, some experts are saying that this could have some unintended consequences. Joining us here to break down more of those details is our April Purdant. So, April, tell us what have you heard? Because you spoke with an expert from UT Health today. What does he take from this debate on permanent daylight savings time?
So he had some really interesting facts. He's a sleep expert, and he talked to us about how our bodies are just so our bodies know when it's daytime and when it's nighttime, and that's just the exposure of light, even through the windows. He said if this does pass, it'll be a little bit detrimental to our health, especially for the little ones. The little ones do need lots of sleep, but he mentioned that it'll be very effective it'll affect them the most, and so especially the kids and older people such as seniors. But that's been kind of what he's been saying. It can also when it comes to that detrimental of health, he's mentioned that it can also just affect our bodies in a way. Just like I mentioned, our bodies know when it's daytime and when it's nighttime. And so just getting back to a routine of things, I think we've been so used to knowing that springtime, we gain back an hour, and then in fall time we don't. But um, it'll be kind of hard to have that permanent. Um, but yeah, I think that's where we're at with that. So.
Now, when you talked to him, did he ever mention to you any possible benefits of switching over to permanent daylight savings time?
Um, Not really when it comes to like benefits, but he did say something to keep in mind is usually what we usually do when it comes to daylight saving in the fall and the spring is getting back to like a really good routine. Um, and so some of that can be, especially for the kids, giving them a routine of knowing when it's bedtime, knowing when it's time to like wake up in the morning. He also mentioned some other things regarding, sometimes we use our phones um, for alarm sets, but there's also these boxes. I don't remember the name of them, but they're like solar boxes where it kind of mimics sunlight, and so you also put the timer on your phone, and it'll kind of brighten up your room. And so I thought that was really interesting. So those are kind of ways to understand a little bit of being a little bit more exposed to light in that sense.
All right, well, let's go ahead and hear from Daniel Rongo, a physician at UT Health and a sleep expert.
Yes.
There's a bill that's being passed right now called the Sunshine Protection Act. This is an attempt to try to align and make uniform the entire year-long schedule of and not having to switch clocks during the springtime as well as in the fall. And the problem with that is at times that could actually lead to, especially in the wintertime, dark mornings and moments where you're going to work and it's very dark. There's a known entity in sleep medicine where having early morning light when we wake up is very healthy to the body. That is the time where our bodies are most sensitive to the beneficial aspects of that light, and so removing that light from our mornings can be detrimental to our health. I'll just leave that.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Can you
yeah,
talk about ways it could be
yeah.
detrimental?
And so the importance of light during the morning is that it helps entrain our circadian rhythm. So our bodies know when it's daytime, and our body knows when to go to sleep. The the issue with that is when we're misaligned with our circadian rhythm, that can lead to issues such as sleep deprivation. When we have dark mornings and we don't have the alignment that the sun beneficially gives us in the mornings, that can lead to our bodies not being aligned in the way it should, and that can lead to issues such as sleep deprivation and feeling sleepy at times where we really should be awake, especially during driving, whenever we're at school, trying to do our jobs. And some of the issues that come long term lead to issues such as mood, dysregulation, irritability, as well as issues with our heart, including things like hypertension and all the things that lead to that too. Yeah.
Who would be most at risk when it comes, if this became permanent?
Yeah. Well, I'd say everybody who goes to sleep and wakes up are at risk of this happening. And the real issue is whenever our bodies are not aligned with when we want to wake up naturally, mostly related to when the sun comes out, that leads to a lot of issues. So anyone really can then lead to mood issues, irritability. So really that, I mean, kids are at risk, older adults, people with heart issues are at risk, people with mood issues are at risk. Really the issue is that we need the sunlight to be aligned with when we naturally wake up in order for our bodies to be in our natural circadian rhythms. The proposed change that's trying to happen right now is that essentially what that means for us is that when you're dropping off your kid at school, it could be completely pitch black dark where your body is not fully ready to take on the day. And as a result of that, we do worry about things such as poor performance in school, as well as traffic accidents that certainly are documented to be issues that we know about already. Yeah. If this comes in law, what that means is that in the winter months, you might be waking up and it's pretty dark. But what we can do are a few things. Number one is we can actually start trying to expose ourselves to natural light or bright light during the mornings. Number one, stick to a usual sleep routine. Number two, what we can do is try to, whenever we wake up, try to get that natural light if we can. There are these light boxes that we can have in our environment that specifically gives you more light. And so those of the screen of the TV, of the on our phones, that might not necessarily get the amount of light that we necessarily need that would emulate that is seen from the sunlight. And so these light boxes are very bright, and so some go as high as greater than 2,500 lux, and some even go up to even greater than 10,000 lux, which is actually more similar to what we get in that natural environment.
What are those lights called?
Light boxes.
Oh,
See,
Yeah.
that could work. Like, if
yeah.
you, like, for your kids, like, do you just, like, slowly turn it on to, like,
Yeah.
act like it's the sun? So talk a little bit more about that. Or do you know? Like, I'm asking you a question.
You know, specifically, I'll tell you this.
Okay.
This is only from personal anecdotal experience of use because it's not very clear. It's not very strong yet. But the idea is that, yeah, you would naturally, some of the boxes actually naturally increase its intensity. And actually some people are actually using that to replace alarm clocks where you actually just naturally progress that light and then your bodies naturally want to wake up after that. So some of the good sleep habits that we can do is just around 2 to 4 hours prior to bedtime, you can actually start relaxing, developing this routine where your body naturally is not doing any extraneous activity, really trying to eliminate the excessive noise, excessive light in your environment, particularly light, because light actually prevents the excretion of what's called melatonin in our brains. And that melatonin is actually what helps us fall asleep. Yeah, so a lot of times as we are trying to fall asleep and trying to relax, the natural instinct is try to grab our phones and try to make ourselves more relaxed, but it actually turns out that it actually prevents us from falling asleep because of that light exposure prevents our melatonin from being excreted in our brain.